Hey guys, I'm Mitch,
I'm Austin.
and this is Super Platinum Achievement, and we've got our day 2 of E3 wrap up and highlights. We're going to talk about it in just a second. Alright guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. It does help us out a ton. We really appreciate it. Also, if you like this video, make sure to give us a big thumbs up when you're done. And check out the giveaway playlist. We like to give away a lot of free stuff. We might have one going on right now. You never know. But yeah, diving into official day 2 of E3. We started off the day big with probably the most anticipated conference being Microsoft and Bethesda.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Thresda, or Bethesda Soft is what Austin calls it, right?
Bethesda Soft, yes, I did.
Bethesda
Was
Soft.
what I dubbed it as.
So I'm going to be looking down a lot here. Forgive me, I have a ton of notes. And if you didn't watch our prediction, we had a bunch of predictions. And we started off good with our predictions. We predicted that Starfield was going to open up the show.
And it did.
It did.
We got our first, really just teaser trailer, but it did give us a release date of 11/11/22. So
yes. Yeah, so I was expecting next year. I was expecting either early or mid next year. Late next year was a little surprising. But, you know, that's better than 2023. And then a big surprise. I mean, we'll kind of go down the list of what we saw here today of some of the big things, but we didn't get a lot of games that we predicted we would see. And some of them we predicted were going to be like early releases.
But on the inverse of that, you know, Xbox has that Game Pass, and that was the main theme running through every game here was everything's pretty much going to be on Game Pass. So
that's kind of what I got too. The feeling I got from this conference was that they are not worried about exclusives as much, and they're not worried about their console as much. They are really, really focusing on just making Game Pass the best service it can possibly be.
Absolutely.
So some of the things we missed out on, we got no update, nothing on Avowed. That was a big letdown.
Yeah,
we got nothing.
I was kind of So I was bummed about that. Yeah, I think that was kind of my biggest letdown, to be honest, because they teased it. I guess last year, kind of was that, or was that 2 years ago? I don't remember now. It's all blurred.
It was in the Microsoft Showcase last year.
Right.
That was, I think, in July is when
in
they did
it. In lieu of the E3. So yeah, I was kind of hoping to get something out of that. We did get another Obsidian tease later in the show, which we'll talk about, which I did not expect, and I was kind of,
that was a big surprise.
Excited about it, but I kind of wanted to see more of Avowed. So that tells me that one is way off, and it not even close. So.
All right, guys, we did get a late report after we already recorded this that says that Microsoft is going to do an extended presentation on June 17th. And they're going to talk about Obsidian titles, Rare titles, and Hellblade 2. So these are all the titles that we were missing out on in their normal presentation. And either they already had this planned, or they got feedback and were like, we better fix this and talk about these big time titles that people were excited for and didn't get to hear more about. So I'm really excited. These are the ones I wanted to hear about, the ones I was most excited for. So we shall see what we get on June 17th. No Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
No Elder Scrolls 6. No Scorn. And nothing on the Gunk, which is weird because we got a lot on the Gunk last year. But
yeah, so, I mean, I feel like it wasn't that much Bethesda in this showcase. We really only have like 2 things from them, like realistically. And I was kind of let down on the Bethesda side of it. I was expecting, a Wolfenstein or, they mentioned like, Doom Eternal is, getting the next gen upgrade and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's nothing like a new Wolfenstein game. Obviously no Elder Scrolls 6, no new Fallout. They covered Fallout 76, but
yeah, we got I think 2 new Bethesda games out of this whole thing, and we'll touch, obviously Starfield's the first one. Next game that was announced was Stalker 2, or not announced but updated on Stalker 2 Hearts of Chernobyl.
Yes.
And that game looks really good. However, it is a timed exclusive. And that is a theme for a lot of this as well.
Yeah,
a lot of these are timed exclusives.
And that was one thing I picked up too, is every time they said console exclusive or whatever, but most of them are timed exclusives anyway, so it's just like,
launch, because they had the little pre-tag thing, and it would say console exclusive because there are no true exclusive to Xbox. They all come to Xbox and PC.
yeah.
Or it would say launch exclusive, and
Launch
that's how you do it.
yeah, maybe that's what it was. I forget.
Yeah, launch exclusive is what would tell you is timed, and then but yeah, that game does look really good. The ray tracing on it looks beautiful. It looks like it's going to be a great game. I kind of want to get to play the first Stalker to see what's going on here, but then the next we got a kind of a surprise announcement. It's not a game that's exclusive to Xbox, but they announced a big time game is coming to Game Pass day one. And that's one we're both excited for. That's Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood.
Yeah,
so
day one on Game Pass, which we both have Game Pass.
Yeah, so I'm
how
happy
we're gonna be playing it.
Saves me some money there because I'm already subscribed. But that was back to like the Game Pass theme. A lot of the games that they showed off, like Back 4 Blood, obviously we know is releasing on all the platforms day one.
Right.
It's not like it's an exclusive, but it's an advertisement for Game Pass, not the Xbox. So
exactly,
it's kind of interesting. That was a lot of the approach of this conference itself was
all about that Game Pass, baby.
So especially showing off games like this one and other ones that we know are coming to other consoles, or the other console, I should say, and PC, obviously.
Yeah.
So
they did show us a new mode for Back 4 Blood that we didn't know about before, the Swarm mode, where you get to play as the
zombie,
the zombies, which
it's almost like
cool.
It's almost like a Dead by Daylight, where one person plays the killer and then the other people try to escape or whatever. So which can be fun.
Well, there's a few games that have something like that, and then we got our first new game announcement after that. That's something we haven't heard about, and this is an exclusive. It's a co-op open world game, and we just got a pre-rendered cinematic trailer. It wasn't even cinematic, it was all still frame stuff, like a paused. It's called Contraband. So we didn't really get a whole lot of info on that, but it is the first brand new game that is a Microsoft exclusive. So that started out at least being like, okay, they do have something.
From what I've seen since the reveal, it sounds like it's like a 1970s heist game, which kind of sounds fun. So
yeah,
I do like how more and more game companies and just developers are embracing the co-op again. So maybe we'll get a little, I don't think it's gonna be couch co-op, but I like this, just local co-op kind of thing, which has always been fun.
I hope couch co-op.
Couch co-op would be cool, and I like that. And this is by Avalanche Studios, who does the Just Cause game series. So they're really good at open world games. I mean, those have been probably the pinnacle.
They're gonna look really good.
Of open world games the last couple of years. So.
And we got a big update for Sea of Thieves, and this trailer actually had me smiling a lot, and was a big surprise.
Yeah.
You got Pirates of the Caribbean joining the cast of Sea of Thieves with Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life.
Yes.
Which is really cool. They had Jack Sparrow, Gibbs, Calypso, Davy Jones, Cotton, the whole cast from Pirates of the Caribbean. And that comes on as a new game mode for Sea of Thieves on June 22nd.
Yeah, and free for all people to own the game. So
which if you have Game Pass, you're considered a owner anyway. So
I think I actually purchased this game because
Did you?
I don't think Game Pass was really a thing when this one first came out.
It wasn't. That's pre.
So I actually bought this game at full price, and then have obviously since got Game Pass, which whatever. Not too upset about it.
That's what I've played it on. I'm not super deep into Sea of Thieves yet, but it's funny. This actually made me want to play it more.
It's fun. It's a good game. So this is definitely.
And we got the announcement back on the Game Pass theme. All the Yakuza games are going to be on Game Pass. Every single one of them, including the latest one. Everything's coming to Game Pass. And then, kind of a surprise, we got the Battlefield 2042 gameplay in this conference.
I guess we could have put that together, because it was like, gameplay reveal on today's date, and I guess it could have been like, oh, it's probably going to be in Microsoft's thing, duh. So
right, but there's nothing exclusive about it.
No,
nothing exclusive. It's not coming to Game Pass. They just were like, hey, let's ride the coattails of these guys and throw a gameplay trailer in the biggest conference of the year. So
exactly. So yeah.
So it looks really good, though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for this game. It looks super fun. It looks very familiar, like with Battlefield 4, but obviously little newer. Of course, it's been a number of years.
I'm not
Battlefield
huge.
4,
As you know, I'm not a huge multiplayer guy. I'll play them, but a game that's strictly multiplayer, I honestly, I'm probably not going to shell out $70 for it. So we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that one to you.
Yeah, that'll be my game. But
Yep.
You spend how much time playing the campaign, and then this much time playing multiplayer. So it's like,
True.
You gotta keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, I mean most people, they're there to play multiplayer.
Battlefield 4, I probably spent maybe 10, 15, 20 hours on the campaign. I played it probably a couple times, and I spent over 1,000 hours on the multiplayer. So you kind of
exactly.
Yes, it's kind of a bummer it won't
sense,
have it's kind of a bummer it won't have a campaign, because I do enjoy campaigns on shooters like this, because generally they are pretty fun. But we're here for the battlefield of 128 players on one field together and just fighting. It's going to be pretty insane. I'm really excited about this game, and that is a this year game, which I'm pretty pumped about. So that was one of the few games that they showed off that come out this year.
Yeah, and we got. Well, actually, this next one is going to come out this year, but it's also a timed exclusive. And that's 12 minutes, which is interesting. And there's a big cast in there with Willem Dafoe, James McAvoy.
And Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, and Daisy Ridley. And, that game looks really interesting. It's a completely different style.
Not a Daisy Ridley fan at all. You can see my... There we go. Okay, yeah. Smile for the camera there. Put him away now.
But yeah, August 19th. For that one.
So I've actually been keeping tabs on this game for I don't know, about 2 years now, since I guess they first announced it.
That's when it was announced, yeah.
And I've always been intrigued with it. I love the whole time loop, like you're stuck in a loop, obviously 12-minute loop, and I don't know, I'm so interested in it. I love just this top-down camera, and I'm guessing that's the only camera you get the entire time. And
that's what it looked like. Yeah, that's all we saw.
It's such a creative idea, and these are the kind of games I really do like. I love to see this creative stuff coming out from the studios, so
it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for this one, actually.
So, and then we got another trailer and a release date for Psychonauts 2, another exclusive.
Yes.
As far as I know, I couldn't find anything that it wasn't going to be exclusive. There was rumors for a while that it would come to PlayStation, but I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's going to stick on Microsoft only, because it is published by Microsoft. It's not developed by them, but it is published. And that comes out August 25th. So they do have a few games coming out this year.
And I know people really love Psychonauts, so that's probably, for some people, this is the game that they will maybe buy an Xbox for.
Yeah.
Or subscribe to Game Pass or whatever. So.
And then another Game Pass, Bethesda came out and said, we got 10 more titles coming to Game Pass today from the Bethesda lineup, including Doom Eternal, which is pretty cool.
And a lot of the other Fallout games, I think is what it was.
Fallout, a few Fallout games. And then speaking of Fallout, that was the next one. They talked about the new game modes for Fallout 76, which they're continuing to support.
Yes.
That's Steel Rain and The Pit coming in July.
And for all you Fallout 3 fans, The Pit is definitely a callback to, obviously, the Pit DLC in that game, which was always probably one of the hardest DLCs, I think, in that game, because it is just such a different... They made it way more savage, and I'm assuming that in this, since they're still so close to when the nukes went off, the Pit is probably just a complete desolate wasteland. And, I've been on the fence about getting back into 76. It's still installed on my computer, and this might actually get me to go back, considering all these content updates are totally free. So. Yeah,
exactly. And if you have Game Pass, you get it anyway.
Yeah, but I've, another game I paid $60 for back in the day. So.
Yeah. And we got they're going to continue to support Elder Scrolls Online.
Huge game. What did they say? 22 million or something like that?
A lot of players.
Maybe it was 14 million, but it's a lot of players. I think it's one of the most played MMOs at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
And then another game that actually had me smiling the whole time because it was just silly and goofy and kind of hilarious. Another timed exclusive, Party Animals.
Yes. I think that's actually was my favorite part. This is I did crack a laugh on this because it looks
they're
so much fun.
They just look ridiculous and it looks fun.
That
comes out next year.
Yeah, it's like the Fall Guys wearing essentially animal costumes.
That's exactly
what
it
seems like, and they're they're flopping around and they get weapons, and it's like a battle game or a fighting game of some sort. But it looks silly, and I'm
playing these cute fuzzy little critters.
I think it'll be pretty fun to play. Obviously it's on Game Pass, so I have access to play all these. So,
Right.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. And then we got an announcement that Hades, which was originally exclusive for Switch and PC, Hades is coming to Xbox August 13th. And then another timed exclusive, I think you say is it Somerville? Somerville,
I'm assuming. Yeah.
Somerville. So that's timed exclusive coming out 2022. Interesting looking game there. And then we got one that a lot of people were waiting for.
Well, here, sorry to interrupt. This makes sense. When I was watching the Somerville trailer, I'm like, gosh, that looks like Limbo and Inside. It's from the co-founder of Limbo and Inside of Play Dead. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
There you go.
Well, then I'm in because I loved Limbo and Inside. Fantastic games.
I haven't played either of those.
Oh, they're super fun. So that makes sense. That's why this looks just like those games. Got it. Okay, moving on.
And then we finally got more look at Halo Infinite. This was focused solely on the multiplayer.
Pretty much, yeah.
It does look better. They did fix a lot of it. It didn't have that dull plastic look to it anymore.
It's true, but I'm still a little skeptical because this was still just a rendered trailer and not a gameplay trailer like we got the first time that people complained about. So I'm still really concerned to how does this game?
There was a little bit of gameplay thrown in there, but it was and that's what I was thinking too. There was gameplay, but it was like super quick cuts, so you didn't get a good chance to look at each scene. It was like boom.
I think what they should have done is, they made the announcement that they're gonna make the graphics better or whatever. They should have just re-released the gameplay trailer itself.
Yeah,
but in the
compared
new version,
it side by side even.
And honestly done a side by side, which would have been hilarious. But for them, super
remaster the game that's never come out.
But for them, super self-aware that they messed up, and now here's what it looks like now.
Yeah.
And you get the the brute. I forget what his name is off the top of my head, like Cletus or something.
Craig.
That's kind of close. But yeah, if you get a side by side of Craig here and it looks all of a sudden like way better, then I think people will be like, okay,
that would have been perfect.
That's what they should have done, because there was kind of a running humor through all this whole conference from the games and stuff like that, and I think this would have fit right in with that kind of humor they were going with the entire time. But I think that would have, for people like me, would have really sealed the deal that they really did. Work hard to get this game to what we would consider this next gen. I mean,
fixed.
We all know the complaints about it. We talked about it in our prediction video. If you really want to go check it out, if you haven't already. So
it was kind of a letdown of an update. I mean, it is cool. The multiplayer is free to play.
Yes.
Which is really, I mean, that's huge. Speaking of huge, the world looks like it's going to be a lot bigger compared to previous Halo titles. It's definitely not open world, but it's pretty vast comparatively.
Yeah, just a bigger world.
Yeah, and they did confirm it has not been delayed again. It is coming out holiday this year.
Yes,
so
we still did not get a release
very
date,
clear.
Which I found still kind of odd, but I don't.
Yeah.
So what's holiday? Is that I'm guessing
holiday is
November?
usually December. December is usually holiday.
I don't know. So I mean, it's gonna be right before Christmas. Is my guess. So.
I'm guessing first week of December.
I can still see November time because when they say holiday, it's kind of all in that same weird 6 week
between
period.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, that 6 week just you don't really know what's going on kind of thing. So
exactly.
Hopefully we get one more gameplay trailer or something, or just a whole demonstration this is what the game looks like now. Rest assured
I've heard rumors that they are going to close out the summer of gaming in August with another showcase. So that may be when we get more Halo, and we might get some of these games that I mentioned here that we missed out on. So
that was kind of my biggest letdown from this whole thing was I wanted to see more Halo, and I think everyone else probably did too. I'm sure I'm not alone in that.
Yeah. Then we got a look at Diablo 2 Resurrected and a release date of September 23rd. That's obviously not an exclusive, but it was in this conference. That's coming to all the platforms, including the Switch.
Yes.
And then I couldn't find anything on this one if it's exclusive or not. I got a big question mark here. But A Plague Tale Requiem coming out next year. I don't know. Is that exclusive? I can't find anything.
I can Google the previous one. A Plague Tale Innocence is the current one. And that is it is PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So
right.
don't.
I would
see
imagine
it
it's coming to
being just-
everything.
yeah, my guess is it will, because if the previous one did, chances are the
And they
sequel
did-
probably would.
Yeah.
too.
And they did make it a point if it was an exclusive to say it beforehand. So I assumed it wasn't, but then we got Far Cry 6. We got a little bit more gameplay. I mean, that one seemed kind of weird because we just got a huge thing on Far Cry 6 yesterday, but whatever. So we won't touch on that too much. And then Slime Rancher 2 is another timed exclusive. That looks fun, coming out next year. And that was another theme. A lot of this is coming out next year. So 2022 is going to be a big year for Xbox.
Yeah.
Then we got Shredders, which looks kind of like a fun game. That's the snowboarding.
It reminds me
snowmobiling
of
game.
what was the Steep. That's what it reminds me of. Was the
I
Ubisoft
haven't
Steep
played
that they did. It's kind of what this looks a little more. I wouldn't say cartoony. Steep was definitely trying to be more of a simulation sports game, where this is more.
I got more of like the SSX
yeah,
vibes from it.
SSX tricky kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Steep is only just in recent years of snowboarding, ski plus other stuff.
And I enjoy snowboarding games. I'm not a big sports games fan, but that's actually one I kind of enjoy is snowboarding games. But yeah, that's another timed exclusive coming out for Xbox in December. So that's another one coming out this year. Then another one that is not exclusive, but it is coming to Game Pass day one, Atomic Heart, which is an interesting looking game. And that's one we heard about
yeah, I
think last year.
I think they're comparing this to BioShock. If not, some people, even from the BioShock team originally, are working on this game. I forget the details there, but yeah, I've had my eye on this game, and we haven't
It looks
seen anything
really
for
interesting and
a
kind of
while.
odd.
It is odd. That's the very BioShocky feel, but it's this steampunk kind of aesthetic, and I don't know, it just looks
it was almost cyberpunk-esque.
cyberpunk Chernobyl-y kind of game.
Yeah.
That's definitely what it looks like. It looks unsettling, and I kind of hope it is kind of a
Yes.
crosses that line
Gives
of
you
like a
that weird
shooter
feeling, yeah.
horror game. I think it'd be a good job at that. So that'd be
Yeah, so that's one I am looking forward to. But we didn't get a release date that I have in my notes here anyway.
no,
we just got that it's
no
coming to
release
Game
date.
Pass.
Yeah, so that's probably not till next year, if not even later. So
And then we got a side scroller, timed exclusive once again coming out next year, Replaced. And that's a really, really pretty looking side scroller game.
yeah, so
the
as they
use
have
of
it described here, it's
the beams
2.5D art. So
Yes, yeah.
it looks super cool. I love that.
Yeah, because like the foreground is very realistic looking,
Yeah.
whereas your character in the world is like 8-bit, 16-bit.
It's weird, yeah,
look.
but it's definitely
16-bit,
a
I guess.
cool thing.
Yeah, so that's interesting, and I'm usually not huge on those type of games, but that one actually had me intrigued. So that one might be one I play.
Yeah.
And then we got a big Grounded update, another game that
This
they're
was a pretty good trailer, actually. To be
They're,
honest,
the initial Grounded launch
Was pretty
trailer
funny,
back in
yeah.
the day was hilarious. The whole "this is not the game you're waiting for." This
Yeah.
one was really the same.
and I love the
saying
arachnophobia
sitting.
slider was hilarious.
Yes,
So
sitting. Yes, that's actually something people have asked for.
yes, sitting.
So yeah,
and that's the humor
Shroom
that
and
I
Doom.
told you was kind of going
Yeah.
through the whole show. And
the
I
whole
wish-
conference. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was a kind of a humor in a lot of this stuff.
So yeah, Grounded, Shroom and Doom. You get Sitting, Pets, The Brood Mother, which is that horribly scary spider. They added achievements, which I honestly didn't know there weren't achievements. That's kind of odd for an Xbox exclusive.
Surprising. Yep.
But that update comes out into this month, June 30th. So, and that game has really high praise for it. So that's pretty cool that it's continued to be supported. And then we got the announcement, I think it was last month, that Among Us is coming to PlayStation. Now we get it that it's coming to Xbox on Game Pass.
Yes.
So Among Us is
And getting the
huge.
update, coming with an update for 15-player lobbies, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's currently, what, 12?
12.
Yeah,
12.
so 3 more people out there. Oof. And it looks like you can get another imposter in there is the thing. So 3
Yeah.
imposters.
3
Oof,
imposters.
it's gonna be
Scary. And then I'm going to butcher this name. Ayuden? Is that how you say it? Chronicles? A couple new games coming to Game Pass for that in 2022 and 2023.
Yeah, so there's like 2 of them they announced at once.
Yeah.
Just lost
Yeah,
Oh,
Iodine Chronicles
Iuden,
Rising and Iodine Chronicles 100 Heroes. And these reminded me of what's the Octopath Traveler kind of style.
It's the definitely obviously the JRPG style.
JRPG 2.5D,
which is not a lot of Microsoft's games actually. So it's
no,
kind of
so they are kind of they did say they wanted to appeal more to that Japanese market because they do not do well in Japan. So stuff like this is going to help. Both those coming to Game Pass day one. The Ascent, another timed exclusive, coming out next month, July 29th.
And from what I put together, it's I don't know, roguelike maybe kind of thing, but it sounds like from what I picked up is you're climbing up a tower, and I'm assuming each floor gets harder and harder as you go up.
Yeah, top-down shooter.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool.
Like Helldivers. It looks a lot like Helldivers if you
that, or like a Gauntlet or something like that.
Yeah.
That kind of style.
With
down.
guns, though. Yeah.
Or I guess, or even Diablo, similar style. So.
Right.
And that comes out this year, July 29th. So
July 29th.
One of the handful that comes out this year in 2020. So.
And then another actual exclusive, Age of Empires 4.
Yes.
Announced to be coming out October 28th. And the Age of Empires games are a ton of fun. I don't see... I've never played the RTS games on a console. I mean... I can't see using a controller instead of a mouse and keyboard for that.
Yeah,
I mean, you can hook up a mouse and keyboard to your Xbox, though, so if you really want to.
So is it only Xbox, or is it, I'm assuming PC as well?
Yes, I mean, everything that comes to Xbox is PC. So the Xbox has absolutely zero exclusives on the console. It's all Xbox and PC.
Okay.
And then that's where we got the Obsidian game, The Outer Worlds 2, which, once again, hilarious trailer. Basically saying, we have nothing done in this game. We just want to let you know it's happening.
We have a name, and that's it. It was
see this monster? Say goodbye, because it's definitely not going to be in the game.
It's very, once again, a very self-aware in the style of E3, or E3 always show, like the trailers always show off this amazing stuff that never actually end up in the actual game. So they are super aware of that, and it was pretty good. But I wasn't
fun of every reveal trailer out there.
This wasn't the Obsidian game I was expecting, because Outer Worlds the first one came out 2 years ago. I wasn't expecting the sequel to come out so quickly, considering
they usually have the
most
alternate
recent DLC. Like I think just kind of came out. Or if not too long ago. And once again, I was wondering to see
Obsidian is actually working on 2 games at the same time, which
maybe
2 big
even
games.
3.
Yeah, that's a possibility. We know for a fact 2, and it's very possible the third one being New Vegas 2, because it's 2 rumored and 2 teased, I think, not to happen at some point.
Yeah, and Obsidian's even teased about New Vegas 2. So
yeah.
I mean, I guess
and obviously
that
that is
money
exclusive.
Has helped out their studio a little bit, which is fine.
Yeah, they probably hired some more people.
Obsidian makes great games, and as long as they keep making great games, I am all aboard.
Yeah. Then we got the release date finally for the Flight Simulator for Xbox. Obviously, it's already out on PC, but now it's coming to Xbox July 27th, just next month, and a Top Gun DLC added, so you can fly.
To the
Danger Zone. Yeah.
Maverick.
So you get a fly as Maverick.
As a promotion to Top Gun Maverick. Huh. Weird.
Right. So the game comes out next month, but the Top Gun doesn't come out until this fall.
I think
so you don't get Top Gun right away. Yeah. And then we got probably one of the best looking games I've ever seen, if not the best looking game as far as environment goes. That's Forza Horizon 5. I mean, that's what they specialize in.
Yeah.
This game is, gorgeous. The environment
the game looked
real.
fantastic. Watching the trailer, I can say it's not a game for me.
I'm not a big racing fan.
I like racing in the sense of just true racing. I don't like this open world. You kind of just
drive around.
I don't know, because that was Need for Speed last couple times, and it just hasn't been as fun to me versus just strictly racing games. people love Forza Horizon and they love just kind of just driving around, which, if more power to you.
I mean, if you're all about the scenery too,
Yeah.
which a lot of people do, they get in the the 4x4s and they go up and they enjoy the scenery. And this one's set in Mexico and it looks absolutely gorgeous.
But that's
very
the thing is they
detailed.
try to make it pretty much like photorealistic of Mexico as
Yep.
they possibly could, which is great. I mean, that's more power to them. That's definitely an achievement doing that. So
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Like you said, it's probably not the game for me either. I might play it a little bit just to enjoy the scenery.
But
that
who
one
knows? I
does
could be totally wrong, and I could end up falling
get
in love
hooked.
with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looked a
That's-
little arcadey for me. I mean, they're like jumping off like giant cliffs and just landing fine when your car would literally just explode. So
You don't know that. These might be
I'm
supercars.
pretty sure if you did that, a lot of stuff in that trailer, at least your wheels
done
would
it?
fall off. I think you'd die from the shock. But you know what? Whatever.
You've never tried it. You don't know.
All right, I'm going right now.
And then, but yeah, that's their first huge game that's coming out. That's
And
November
that
9th.
is this year, yeah. So that is
Yes.
kind of the only really, I would say, really AAA exclusive that they're getting this year.
Yeah, aside from obviously Halo, but
But
yeah, and then
that just kidding.
yeah. And then to end the conference, obviously we always get a big announcement, and this one was a brand new game. Usually it's big announcement sequels or something like that ends it. This one was a brand new game, as you predicted, from Arcane.
So I did call out an Arcane game. I was point for me on that one. I didn't.
Yep. Ding.
Yeah, and I didn't expect it to be a new IP. I was expecting maybe like a Dishonored 3. I mean, well then but also Deathloop's also. Arcane.
I mean, they got Deathloop right now,
So, and that's not out
obviously
yet.
they're completely finished on that enough to start moving people over to this title.
Yeah.
So they got the polished people working on Deathloop, and everybody else is working on Redfall. It is obviously an exclusive, and that's kind of what I got here. I'll touch on that at the end. But multiplayer, open world, everybody kind of has their own different powers, it seemed like.
Ability
And that comes out
for sure.
summer of next year, which is kind of surprising for a brand new title coming out so soon. And that was another one of your predictions, that Bethesda announces these titles that are like releasing a lot sooner than anybody would expect for a brand new game. So they've obviously been working on it for a while. And here's what I kind of got from this conference. They didn't talk about any of the main multi-platform titles of Bethesda. They
mentioned them, of course, but
they mentioned them, saying they're still being worked on, but they made it a point to say that these new IPs were exclusive.
Yeah, so
which
I
makes
think
me
you were
think
right on that, Mitch. I know you said the existing
Yeah, I said
franchises,
it.
Fallout, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, the stuff that's released to multiple both consoles, I guess even the Switch as well, are going to keep going onto those platforms. But every new game will be an exclusive.
Yes, and that's what I got. Every new game's going to be exclusive.
And so far, that's 2 for 2. Starfield and Redfall now. So.
I think when we get updates on like Elder Scrolls 6 and a new Fallout, I think we will see one of two things. I'd be surprised if they're going to be exclusives. I think it's going to be one of two things. I think it's either going to be they launch on every console at the same time, but they're Game Pass day one, obviously. Or they're going to be timed exclusive and then Game Pass day one too. I'm leaning more towards the timed exclusive thing because that was also a theme in this whole conference, was timed exclusives. So I'm thinking that Bethesda is not going to be exclusive with their existing titles, but timed exclusive in Game Pass day one. We'll find out for sure. They didn't touch on that at all.
Yeah, like especially those games, the expansions or whatever will come to Xbox a month sooner or something like that.
Yeah, something. So, there's obviously going to be perks to being on a system where Game Pass exists, as Phil said.
My good old
which
PC
Phil didn't have. Phil wasn't around much for this conference, which was surprising.
Phil was at the very end, so open with Todd Howard, which I expected that with obviously Starfield. We did see Pete Hines. Show up.
Yeah.
He kind of ran through everything that was kind of going on. He did talk about Skyrim 10. Oh boy. They didn't talk about the a Skyrim next gen remaster or anything like that, or graphical update. So that's still coming. I'm calling it still, but it might be part of this whole Skyrim 10 thing that they're now branding, because apparently it's its own web page now. Skyrim what was it, Skyrim10.com or something like that. So
Yeah.
uh,
I can't
yeah,
believe this game is
and then
still
Phil showed
kicking.
up at the end, and that was, you know,
Yeah, that was right after Forza, and
that
then
was
to
it.
kind of announce Redfall.
Yes.
But yeah, that was it for the conference.
Yeah, no,
I was a
no,
little bit let
you're
down.
missing the last teaser at the very end. The new Xbox that's coming out. The Xbox mini
Did I
fridge.
miss that? Oh, yes.
So if you actually stuck, there was like it's like a mid-credit thing because it's like a thanks for watching thing, and then it popped up with this trailer for the Series X mini fridge, and it says yes, this is actually happening.
Actually
and
a
it's,
thing.
It's like
Yeah.
a mini fridge, about this big. It only shows about 6 cans in it, and then it's like the Xbox cooling, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. And I mean, once again, super aware of what's
Self-aware.
going on.
Yeah.
With the jokes.
Which, yeah,
and stuff.
kudos to them.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was
So,
the best way to end the conference. So I thought it was
So I
pretty good.
broke down everything as far as what's exclusive, what's timed exclusive. I got a list here. So timed exclusives, we've got Stalker 2, 12 minutes, Party Animals, Somerville, Slime Rancher, Shredders, Replaced, and The Ascent, all timed exclusives. We had a few in there that weren't going to be any sort of exclusives, that being a Plague Tale, Battlefield,
Diablo 2,
Diablo 2, Among Us. There was a
New
few.
Cry,
I didn't really write all those down.
Far Cry.
Far Cry. Yeah,
The
Far
new
Cry. And then the actual exclusives to Microsoft, I can't say Xbox, but a Microsoft exclusive being Starfield, Contraband, Psychonauts 2, Halo Infinite, Age of Empires 4, Outer Worlds 2, Flight Simulator, Forza Horizon 5, and Redfall. So that's more exclusives than they've had in a while. 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 coming out in the next 2 years. Actually, most of those were coming out next year, which is pretty big. So they've got games finally, but none of them were those huge games, and we don't know how many of these are going to be good. Starfield's huge. We don't know anything about
And I
Contraband.
do want to
I
say,
assume
in the
it's
very
gonna be great.
beginning on Starfield, it said the Creation 2 engine. So they obviously made a new engine for this game. So thank goodness we're not on the Creation engine anymore. Even if it's just an
Yes.
update to what that original engine was, it's outlived its use. It's 20 years old. I mean, that is the engine Morrowind was. It was Morrowind to Fallout 76 was on the same engine, which is completely crazy to me. So I was happy to see Creation 2, which gives me more faith for Starfield and more faith in Bethesda that they will able to make the game that they want to make and not be held back by their. They always talk about this is the game we wanted to make for 20 years, but now we have the hardware. Well, they took a long time getting to that point, so hopefully they can, hopefully it's, really is next gen. Because I want this, Starfield to come out and just be like, yes, Bethesda's back on top. They are the king of this genre of this Western RPG. So.
And then we're going to move on to Square Enix, and we'll stop after this one. And I actually really enjoyed this one. This was a lot of games I'm into. Not as much you're not as much into the JRPG.
For me, it was just like, I mean, a couple things were cool, but then I was like, okay, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's not.
I'm super excited for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes,
that looks fantastic.
It opened with the Eidos Montreal new game.
Eidos Montreal.
Eidos Montreal, which we said that was probably new Tomb Raider, which we were way off. I guess that was more Crystal Dynamics, anyways. So they announced the new Guardians of the Galaxy game. No idea if it's going to tie in ever with the actual Avengers game, which they did go into depth, but the first about 20 minutes of this
was that game
was just Guardians of the Galaxy. So we got a trailer, we got another thing of like people talking about the game with actual comic book writers and stuff, and then
it was huge.
Then we got about 10 minutes of gameplay. So
Eidos Montreal, you play as Star-Lord.
Mm-hmm.
It's a single player game. Choices make a big difference, as we saw in the gameplay. We got a lot of gameplay, like you said. It's obviously got that Guardians of the Galaxy humor.
Mm-hmm,
you get to the gameplay, you get to it's kind of tactical a little bit, where you get to control your team, get to control the other Guardians, tell them what to do.
Yeah, so I like that, and it looks like it's pretty seamless. It looks like it's on the D-pad, so each of the other 4 Guardians are all on your D-pad. You push on one, and then that gives you 4 options for them. Probably attack or do something or. So
Distract.
it was kind of it's kind of a cool way to instead of just having a brainless AI teammates, which is would be a concern on this, that actually are incorporating them with how you want to play, which I think is pretty cool. And from what it looks like, this game is, if that was that much covered, it's probably pretty. What did they give a release date on that?
October, October 26th.
I mean, it's probably it's right around the corner. So,
but yeah, that looks great. The enemy in that one is Lady Hellbender, kind of a lesser known enemy.
Yeah.
But like you said, that was majority of the conference right there. Then we got the announcement that Final Fantasy 1 through 6 are coming to Steam and mobile.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool for fans of those games.
Our phones now probably have more computing power than the computers back then that ran those games.
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of surprised that they didn't announce those coming to Switch as well. Maybe Switch is going to do that in their conference.
Yeah, maybe Nintendo. So. And that's the thing is, we didn't even talk about this in our pre-show guess or guessing or whatever.
Our predictions
was all the mobile stuff. Didn't even cross my mind, but
they had a whole thing
Square
about
Enix has always really been in the mobile, and I just didn't even think about making that connection. And so I apologize to anyone on our prediction show that we didn't even say anything about mobile. If anyone
we didn't. So yeah, kind of calling back to, I guess, our prediction. I'll go through what we got right and wrong here. No Tomb Raider. We didn't get a big showcase of Final Fantasy 16, which we actually thought was going to be a bulk of the show.
So, which tells me that maybe if Sony ever does something this summer as well, that's where we're going to
That's when it's going to be, exactly. We did get the Life is Strange True Colors. Obviously, that was a lot of it. And the Life is Strange Remaster Collection with the first two games, yeah.
Yes. So, that is... Oh, what's the main character's name in that? I don't remember now.
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
But, you're going back to Arcadia Bay, and, what people consider... The first Life is Strange is still considered the best one, so...
We got an update on... We got an update on Legend of Mana coming out June 24th on the Switch and Steam. Which I love the Mana games. They're fun. And then Avengers, we called that one. We got that one right, being a lot on the War for Wakanda. That update's going to be no cost to people that own the Avengers already.
Well, it better not cost anything.
Yes, exactly. They deserve it. They paid for it already.
If you're still playing that game, kudos to you for supporting them. It might be one that we would maybe come back a year out after a release, which is now, I guess.
Yeah. We didn't get any update on Spider-Man coming to it, which they told us we would get. Maybe, once again, it's going to be with Sony. But then, like you said, a lot of mobile. We got Hitman Sniper, The Shadows.
And I'm actually pretty excited about this because it sounds like, which is kind of odd because this is IO. Obviously, Hitman is IO's IP. So obviously, they lent out their their name to Square Enix, which used to own them. So the whole it's kind of a story is IO Interactive was its own thing, bought out by Square Enix, and was going to be closed by Square Enix, and IO gambled on Hitman 1 and released it and ended up buying their independence from Square Enix, and then obviously has Hitman 2 is, or maybe it's Hitman 2 that they were able to buy their independence, and then obviously Hitman 3 was a huge success. So so obviously I guess Square Enix has some rights to Hitman still, unless IO and them are on good terms. I don't know, but it sounds like it might be in line with the story of actual Agent 47. They do reference him in it. So.
They do. They say Agent 47's on this mission or whatever.
He's missing.
Missing. Then we got Nier Reincarnation, which that's a really popular franchise.
Oh yeah, Nier.
Final Fantasy and War of the Visions coming out next month. And then Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier. Those are all the games coming to mobile. And then we did get our PlayStation console exclusive. We had predicted that it was going to be a PlayStation console exclusive Final Fantasy. It wasn't, but it was announced PlayStation console exclusive Babylon's Fall.
Yes.
This was a very interesting looking game. This is from Platinum Games. So it's a JRPG / hack and slash style game.
And isn't Platinum Game is Nier, right?
Nier, it's also Bayonetta.
Yes.
And those games.
So this is a a live service game, so obviously one of
Yes.
those always online kind of games. So I'm
Always
assuming
online.
I'm assuming it's kind of like a Godfall, or I mean, if you want to go
Outriders.
even kind of a Destiny style, probably a looter game. So
Yeah, they said it was kind of a looter hack and slash. There's a closed beta that you can register for coming out.
and that looked cool.
Like I said, we got
That game actually looked like I was pretty
It
interested.
did. It looked pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. Then, like I said, the next one was the Life is Strange. We already touched on that a little bit. True Colors. You're an empath named Alex. The whole game, if you know Life is Strange, is all choice based, all about making connections and making choices with the people around you. Very just story driven, character driven. And that comes out September 10th. And then to close it off, we got Stranger of Paradise from the Final Fantasy Origin games, which was a surprise. Coming out of a Square Enix Japan with Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo games, all teaming together to do this. Coming out next year, and there is a demo releasing on PS5 soon. I think it actually already launched.
Oh, did it? Okay, maybe
I'll
go check that out.
I saw somebody online that said it had launched, but they tried to download it and they got an error, so maybe it was released too soon. I don't know.
Early, it was a mistake or something.
And then they just kind of highlighted things that are already, been announced that they want to make sure we know it still exists. The one that showed up for a split second that I'm actually pretty excited for, I wish they would have shown us more, was Forspoken. That game, or I believe that's what it's called, right? Where you've got the different powers. But that game, we got a showcase of that earlier this year, I believe. But yeah, so that kind of sums everything up. This is a really long video, sum it up, because it was a really long conference. What was Microsoft, hour and a half?
Microsoft's hour and a half. This was about
45 minutes.
So overall, I think they were both pretty good. They weren't. I don't think they were exceptional. Is the thing. Microsoft's it was just good. It wasn't like it didn't blow me away.
It didn't blow me away. It wasn't the big, conference that we were expecting and thinking they needed. It was, better than a lot of their conferences in the past, but it was decent. Square Enix, for what I expected, which not much. I was actually pretty happy with it.
The Guardians, I think, was kind of a surprise for me. Obviously, Final Fantasy stuff, which that's expected. It's Square's biggest franchise.
Their game. Yep.
So, of course, we're going to get a lot of Final Fantasy, which is fine.
And I'm sure we're going to get a lot in the Nintendo Direct as well. Nintendo's really heavy on Square Enix. So that wraps up day 2. We really appreciate you guys sticking around for this summary video that we did here. What are we, like 45 minutes now? But we appreciate it. Hopefully you liked what you see, and hopefully we see you again here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Like what you see. Hopefully we see you again on
Super Platinum Achievement.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.